Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Alyssa and I garden in New York, Zone 7B, and welcome to the May Garden Tour. It's probably actually no longer May when you're seeing this. This month has been a little bit crazy in terms of my schedule, and the weather hasn't been the best. It's been very rainy and very cold. People are always complaining that we don't have real springs anymore, but I definitely feel as if this year we had a real spring, nice and wet, and I myself, and I'm sure the plants too, are ready for some heat. So hopefully the weather is going to take a turn soon and we'll get some nice summer weather. But I wanted to get this garden tour done right at the end of May. It's a little later in the evening, but wanted to show you guys how the garden is looking this month because a lot of stuff has changed and happened. So first, starting out in the front yard as usual, we have the Japanese maple, which I did prune up this year, and you can't even tell she is looking fabulous. I mean, I feel like every year now that I started taking care of this thing, it's been looking better and better. So looks nice and full and healthy. You can see back here in this front garden bed, and just a reminder for everyone, we're north facing here. So doing more shade tolerant things. So we have the hostas, we have some stone crop. This is the winterberry holly, no more red berries. I transplanted this one a little bit further up when I put in the two red twig dogwoods in the back. And everyone is looking great. Everyone seems like they've survived the transplant and are really thriving so far in this spot. So I'm really happy about that. Then we have the two cherry trees in the front, which I'll try and put up a clip showing you guys the blooms, because you know how cherry trees are, very fleeting blooms, doesn't last for a very long time, but they were beautiful, and this year they looked marvelous. So I was really excited about how these cherry trees looked. All right, so that's it for this front garden bed. Now, moving on to the first big project that we did this year was the soft landing garden bed that we put under the oak tree in the front yard. If you all haven't seen that video, please go back and look. It's actually a bit of a series. I showed you planning it out, putting down cardboard to smother the grass, putting the soil down, and finally, just a few weeks ago, we got the plants in the ground. So there's still more space for things to be planted, but I'm really excited that we have some plants out here. There's still a few more things we have to do for this garden bed to tighten it up. I want to put more of a walking path in this front yard, but really excited. This was a big project that we got done this year. Now, one thing that I did not think about when I was buying the plants for this area is I bought native plants. I bought plants that would do well in a partial shade environment. But what I did not think about was rabbit proofing these plants. So, and I realized that when I was standing at the window one day and I looked outside and I saw a thumper just hanging out here, probably munching on some plants. I kind of see some that look like they've probably been nibbled on. So we'll see how everything does, because I did not intentionally choose plants that would be rabbit resistant, because although we've always had rabbits in the neighborhood, it wasn't something that I really needed to worry about. They didn't tend to mess up the garden, so I didn't really think about it, but we'll see how these plants do. Maybe some things will have to be replaced if the rabbits like them a bit too much. Now, lastly, in this front side is going to be this other side swoop. Still trying to figure out what I want to name this garden bed. There's not a lot of stuff going on in this garden bed, and I'm really thinking this is one of those areas that I need to start paying more attention to. But we have a couple of things. There's 4 butterfly bushes that I pruned up at the beginning of spring, and they're coming back up, and we know they're going to bloom closer towards the middle end of summer. There's some geraniums back here that are doing very well, a little bit hidden, but not a bad ground cover. And what I'm really loving is this variegated Jacob's ladder. I've said this once before, I think I really enjoy the kind of silvery green color that a lot of plants have. This has that variegated, it's green and it's white, and it has these little cute, delicate pink blooms. I love this Jacob's ladder. This is definitely something that I think I will buy more of. And it does very well, again, in this part sun, part shade garden bed. The other thing that we had in here were tulip plants. But the tulips did not do well this year. They just did not really perform. They did not really come up. So I'm gonna have to rework this area. I think I need to get a little bit more perennials, a little bit more color and flowers in here. So this will be another project. One of the last things we have in this garden bed is we have 2 phlox that I think they get just enough sun that they do pretty well here. And these, I think, are salvia. I'm always not 100% sure whether it's salvia or veronica, because at some point we had some veronica here, but maybe last year I also planted some salvia. But they seem like they're doing okay here. So this might be something that maybe I get a little bit more of, like maybe this section right here gets just enough sun that some of these more sun-loving plants can actually do well in. So I might get some of that to fill in this area. Okay, one other thing before we go further, you guys will see here, and you're definitely going to see in the backyard, we have not mown the grass at all this spring. So it is looking wild. Not everyone in the house is happy about it, but I'm trying to hold firm, at least for no mow May. And you can see, I mean, I've never seen some of this stuff, these grass heads come up, because we never let them get this big. I have seen some flies and bees and other insects gathering around these for what all I can tell is just grass, but pollinators and different bugs seem to be enjoying this. Now, I unfortunately, because I do live in the suburbs and I do live in a neighborhood, and I think everyone in the house would protest, I'm not going to be able to let the grass go for the entire summer, as I know some people have suggested that doing a no mow May, which is what I was kind of trying to do, is maybe not the most beneficial if you're going to come back and cut everything down, because the insects and everybody sort of get used to this grass being here, start utilizing it, and then you show up and you cut everything down. My goal is in the next week or two, I am going to trim the grass, but I'm going to try and keep it higher than we typically will. So stay tuned for us figuring out what we're going to do with the grass. But so far, no mow May has been going okay. Grass is looking a little wild, but we'll handle that in the next week or two. Okay, so now we're on the other side of the front yard, and there's a couple of things that are going on in this garden bed, which I'm really enjoying. So you guys will see dotted around, we have the cosmos that we started inside, which, you know what, they're actually doing pretty well. And they're doing exactly what I wanted them to do, at least in my opinion. I feel as if they look like little wildflowers just sort of poking their heads up. I have a few more stock starts that I need to put in, and I'm probably just going to put them in here as well, just for a little bit more annual color, because guys, I'm so behind in getting some things outside. I am behind in planting this year, but what can we do? I unfortunately can't do this full time. So, but the cosmos look really good. We have a little lime punch hydrangea, which has got nice and leafed out. This will start making flower heads later on in the summer, and you'll see the nice color towards the end of the summer, and in the fall, the heads turn a nice pink. We have the 3 pots of ranunculus that I potted up. These haven't flowered yet, and I think it's a little bit late, but that might just be because I put them out late. So we'll see if the ranunculus end up doing anything. Now, the roses are finally starting to come into bloom. So I have this rose that I know is a David Austin rose, but if somebody knows which one this is, please let me know, because I do not know. I tried to look it up, and I think it said maybe it's a Gail Austin or somebody. I don't know, but I love this color. This is a very different color than we have in most of the garden. We don't have a lot of orangey. This is sort of a peachy kind of color, but I think it's so cute and pretty. It's giving off a very light scent. You kind of have to get up to it to smell it, but smells beautiful. Behind the hydrangea is the peony that I thought about moving, but I actually think I'm going to leave her right where she is, just because I think it looks healthy, and I think it's going to be able to compete with the hydrangea and be okay. This is the first year that I've seen the Japanese snowbell really flower. And it's really cute. It has these beautiful, like, delicate white flowers. Let me see if you guys can see some, because they kind of point down. They're very sweet and cute, and it actually has a nice light scent, and I have seen a few bees hanging out here. So I'm really liking this guy. It's very cute with this nice drapey habit and the nice delicate white flowers. So I'm really happy with the Japanese snowbell. There's a few more perennials that I put in. So there's a daylily here and another one on the other side that I put in last year. Haven't seen them flower yet, but they're coming up, so I'm happy about that. As I'm going to say for most of the garden beds, this is another bed that I'm going to be reworking a little bit, expanding it just a little bit back behind these boxwoods, kind of taking out this grass here and planting up this area. So there's one more peony over here that I'm pretty sure I told you guys I thought was dead, but has resurrected itself, and it's small. I don't expect it to do anything this year, but the fact that it exists, I am really excited about. Okay, so now we're in the beginning of the side path going to the backyard. First over here, we can see the hostas are thriving to the point where I am going to have to thin these out because they're going to crowd themselves out over here. I don't know what it is about this spot that they love so much. I got these from my aunt. I am one of those people who I believe, honestly, don't ever buy a hosta. I mean, if there's one that you really, really love and it's hard to find, you know, these aren't necessarily unique hostas, but you can dig these up and share them so easily because they are thriving in this spot. I'm going to have to thin them out. So now on this side of the path, we have the Lamium, which is definitely my favorite ground cover. You can see that they have little pink flowers that are coming up. The Lamium has definitely thinned in some areas compared to others, but still looking really nice. We also have the Hellebores, which you can see, you know, they're past their prime right now, but they've done okay this year. They actually look pretty good, but they're kind of just backdrop at this point. Okay, so now what I am loving in this garden bed right now is this Princess Anne rose from David Austin. This I just planted in the fall. It has not been in the ground for a full year yet. Look how many blooms are on this rose. And she smells beautiful. Whoop, there is a bee buzzing all around me. This rose also still has a delicate scent, but it is a little bit more fragrant than the first one. This is the one that when there's a nice breeze, I'm pretty sure it's this rose that I'm smelling. So I love this rose. The color is so beautiful and she smells so nice. The other thing we have in this garden bed that I planted that was new from last year is these iris. This is the first year that they're blooming, and well, you guys already know I love purple, so I love these iris. Just wanted to try and get some more perennial color into this garden bed. The Thunderclap plum we already saw, bloomed already, but still looking great. I'm going to need to trim it this year, probably really just for shape, but looking nice and healthy. Other things here, you can see more Lamium. There's Stonecrop. You guys saw in the previous garden tour how this Heuchera was so far ahead of this one. That one was really struggling, but you can see there's barely any difference between these two, and I love the color on these Heuchera. The other thing I have in this bed is some of the stock plants. See, these are the ones that need to go in the ground. I mean, you can see they're struggling. I already got a bunch of them in the ground here. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll see some color from them. And then I also put some more daylilies in this garden bed last year as well. Oh, and this is still an iris that just hasn't opened up just yet. A little bit behind the others. The last thing in this garden bed is the Queen Elizabeth rose. Not performing quite as well, at least so far this year. She's gotten really tall, looks really good, but not quite as many blooms, but it's still a little bit early. Most of the roses aren't blooming yet, but the ones that are the newest, for whatever reason, they're actually doing the best so far this year. Coming into the back side path, and you guys will see, this is my favorite view in the entire garden. I just love the side path. I love everything about it. I think it just looks so beautiful, and it's really starting to thrive and come into its own. So first off, when you first come in, we have the crepe myrtle, which again, loving its life back here. We'll have some nice pink flowers towards the end of summer. There's the Perfume Factory Rose. There's two of them back here, which are doing okay, but the one in the middle, which is called Memorial Day, for whatever reason this year, this one is doing much better. You can see she's gotten really tall. We've really had to stake her up, but has more blooms on it than the two Perfume Factories, and the blooms look really big. So I think she's gonna do really well this year. You'd have hopefully seen in a previous video when I potted up these planters with annuals. It's still a little early. These are gonna really start to shine more in the summer. But you can see, I mean, this one is Supertunia Pink Bubblegum from Proven Winners, and already, I mean, cascading down, already filling out way more than the other Supertunias and the other Super Bells that I have back here. But you'll see as the summer goes on, the planters are really going to end up looking good. Other things we have back here, we have a few Anise Hyssop. Not as many of the perennials are flowering just yet, but I know that this is Anise Hyssop. This is a white lily that I am very excited about. This is actually my favorite daylily. It makes these beautiful big white flowers. Back here is an aster that I think I planted this one, but here's an aster. We'll see what that ends up looking like. Behind it, I'll have to put up a picture for you guys, were the iris that I had back here. These had a kind of light pink, almost peachy color to them, but those blooms have faded, so I'll have to put up a picture so you guys can see those. Here we have some poppies. I didn't get to start poppy seeds this year. I just didn't have the time. But last year I had poppies in the garden and they self-seeded themselves, and so I'm really excited to see the poppies come back. Then here and dotted throughout, we have a few different cone flowers. Most likely these are purple cone flowers, but we'll see when they actually start blooming. And this here is a milkweed that I did not put here. We do have milkweed that are a little bit more in the back. So this guy has self-seeded herself, and I'm very excited about that. The milkweed is starting to creep around the garden a little bit. Now, you guys can also see there's a lot of weeds in here. This year, I'm sort of trying to decide how I want to handle the weeds. I think the weed pressure got so high this year because I didn't put down any mulch last year in this garden bed. I don't know. I don't think I thought I needed to. Maybe I ran out of time, but that's why the weed pressure has been so high this year. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to actually see what the weeds are, and I want to take them out if they're invasive, but if they're not actually a weed, we just don't like them, and maybe we think they're too aggressive, but they're a native plant, I'm going to experiment with leaving them in. But anything that's invasive or not native, I am going to pull up. So that's going to be an ongoing project throughout the summer. What else do we have here? We talked about the rose. We have the evening primrose, which I think is a weed because, this guy likes to spread. These make a nice pink rose, and not a rose. These make a nice pink flower. You can see it's starting to bud up, and I must say it does last for a good amount of time. So, in the back we have some more we have some more cone flowers. That's some purple columbine there. This is a yellow daylily that will be blooming in the rest later on in the summer. This is a peony that is actually still in its planter. I'm experimenting with leaving it here or not. I actually haven't decided. But speaking of peony, before we go further down the path, let me show you all this yellow, I think it's called Ito. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. This peony, guys, look at these big, beautiful yellow flowers. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. This is the second year that it's blooming. And it's blooming better this year than it did last year. I mean, this is looking awesome. So I am so excited about this guy. And then right next to and kind of intertwined with my favorite plant, the Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. I mean, look at that pink, that purple and the yellow together. I love it. Love it. The catmint has just started flowering. There's a bunch of it all over the place. There's some more poppies that seeded themselves over here. So I'm happy with this side of the path as well. There's some goldenrod that I planted over here. And you guys saw me plant some goldenrod here as well as moving the false cypress from the front yard to the back. She seems to be doing just fine there as well. When we go back to the other side, we have a crabapple that flowered earlier in the spring. And now I just really love this tree because of the shape. It's so lanky and starting to make little itty bitty fruit. That'll be there mostly in the fall. More catmint. There's more milkweed back here. I have yet to see a monarch butterfly in my backyard. I am crossing my fingers. Maybe it'll be this year. Hopefully. I'm trying, monarchs. Please come visit me. Then we have Dusty Miller on this side, which is also getting ready to bloom. More columbine, more catmint. I already told you guys about the goldenrod. Over here, a couple of more things on this side. We have the persimmon tree that it hasn't even been in the ground for a year yet. So just gonna let this guy grow. Much more catmint, salvia. Oh, and we can see there is a bumblebee, carpenter bee, some kind of bee that's visiting the purple salvia here. The rhododendron did bloom this year. I was skeptical, didn't think it was going to happen, but it bloomed. Very happy. And it was beautiful. So beautiful. Loved it. Okay, now as we go further down the path, we go through the rose arch and we can see that she is coming alive. So on my left, we have Eden, which is starting to bloom. She's ahead of Colette, which is interesting because Colette was bigger when I got the two plants. Colette was bigger. I can't remember last year if Eden bloomed first, but Eden is really showing off this year. I like them because the roses are slightly different. Eden makes a slightly smaller rose. The pink, they're both pink, but it's a different kind of pink, a little bit more delicate. Colette is going to start blooming any day now as well. So I love the rose art. I just think she's so beautiful. So I'm really excited for these to get going. And Eden, of course, smells beautiful. On either side of the arch, we have the older lilac bush, which isn't in flower anymore. And then hopefully you guys would have seen I planted another lilac bush on the other side just a few weeks ago. So hopefully next year in the early spring, we'll have the arch will be framed by the two blooming lilacs. And I think it'll look beautiful and it will smell beautiful. All right, now let's take a look at the orchard garden. As part of the orchard garden, I've brought out the citrus trees. We have 2 orange trees. I have never gotten an orange yet. There's one tiny orange that might be coming up. This is not these trees' fault. It is my fault. I mean, I'm in New York. They need more heat. I have to bring them inside. It's just a miracle that these trees are still alive. Maybe we'll get one orange. Fingers crossed. Then we have a lemon tree, a Kalamata lime tree, which I love the limes on here. They are so almost sweet and sour to me. I think I'm the only one that likes them, but I love them. And then we have the lime tree over here, which has a couple of limes on it. And this one actually does the best. The limes actually produce the most. All right, let's go look at the rest of the orchard now. Almost every tree in the orchard has fruit on it, which is shocking to me because the majority of the trees are brand new. So here we have an Asian plum, and I'm just showing you guys one, but there's a bunch of plums on this tree. So the plum, there's the flowering apricot, which has some fruit on it, but I'm skeptical of these fruit. They haven't grown much in size since they came on the tree, and this is not supposed to be a tree that's really supposed to produce meaningful fruit. It is a flowering apricot. It's just supposed to make beautiful flowers, but there's a lot of fruit this year, so we'll see if this produces anything. At some point, I'm going to come and thin some of these out, and cross your fingers, maybe I'll have some apricots. That would be awesome because I was not expecting that. I have a bunch of strawberries all over the place. This is a planter that I made that has seascape strawberries, and you can see these are coming up, starting to grow some fruit. So very excited about these. These strawberries are delicious. Now you can see my peach tree definitely has peach curl. A little distressed about it. I know it's not great for the tree, but from what I understand, it shouldn't kill the tree. It should be okay for the fruit. It shouldn't really harm the fruit. And you can see there's some fruit on this peach tree. So next year I'm going to spray this with fungicide more aggressively and more times over the winter and early spring, because when I started doing more research, this is the tree that I need to be spraying more aggressively. So we'll do that next year to hopefully avoid so much peach curl. But there's a lot of fruit. So again, cross your fingers that we get some peaches. The Fuji apple has a bunch of fruit on it as well. Looks really good. I think we might, again, hopefully they won't get stolen by the squirrels, but there's a few apples on this tree. So hopefully we get a few apples. The pink lady apple, I don't think this one has any fruit. There might be one or two, but I can't find them right now. This might be the only fruit tree that doesn't bear any fruit. Or maybe there's one. Oh, here we go. There's one. There's one fruit on the pink lady apple. So again, cross your fingers. But this is the one that produced one or two last year and they got eaten by the squirrel. So maybe. We'll see if we get any apples this year. We have a few more things going on in the back bed, which we sometimes call the summer garden bed. All the way in the back here, there's a cherry tree, which don't expect that to do anything because this is a brand new baby cherry tree. But in the back here, you can see these pink blooms. So you can see these pink blooms. This is a Weigela. I need to do more research on this plant because this is the first year it's bloomed like this, but the branches were kind of just hanging over. You can see we sort of did a makeshift plant stand here because the flowers are beautiful, but I don't know how to take care of this plant clearly. Or maybe that's what it's supposed to do, but I didn't think it was supposed to be hanging over like it was. But we have it staked up and the flowers are really beautiful. Now we have the 3 hydrangeas, which I need to do some more pruning on. You guys can see there's definitely some dead sticks here. And it does not look like this is going to be a big flowering year for these hydrangeas. This is the only one that has a few flower heads. These are the hydrangeas that they make kind of a bluish purple flower. The other two don't look like they have any flowers on them this year. I'm not an expert on hydrangea pruning, so that's probably why, but I think I need to prune them this year, and then probably next year they'll look a lot better. I think they need to be pruned this year. Pink. Here we have another peony. It makes a light pink flower, just starting to bud up, not open just yet, but it will be soon. So the peonies, honestly, I'm a newbie with peonies, but they're doing okay this year. I'm excited for the peonies. We have another David Austin rose. This one is a golden celebration. Again, we don't have that much yellow in the garden, I'm realizing. So I'm really excited about this light, delicate yellow color. And this, again, has a nice light rose scent to it. So looking beautiful so far. We still have the crepe myrtle, that this will give us a deep pink flower towards the end of summer. We have more salvia here, which my mother thinks these were always purple, but I am pretty sure before these were pink. I don't know if salvia can do that, if they can change color. I know we always struggled with the salvia, with the pink salvia. So maybe I put some purple salvia here, but I think at some point I'm going to dig these out and move them to other areas in the garden. I don't think they love being under this crepe myrtle, but we'll see. Then we have another Japanese maple here that just looking really, this is looking really good. This is one of those plants where I think I made a mistake initially. I wasn't really garden planning. I probably should not have put these two right next to each other just because I don't think I really anticipated how big this Japanese maple would get. But right now they're doing okay. They seem to be playing nice together. You can see I still have the leaves up from the few tulips that we had, but particularly the daffodils. I need to come in and cut these out eventually, but leaving them up for now so that the bulbs can get as much energy as possible so that they can rise back up next year. Here we still have another crepe myrtle. This one stays more of a shrub form, and this will make purple flowers towards the end of summer. And in the back, on the other side of the Japanese maple, there's another daylily that's pink that'll be opening up soon. And guys, look at this peony. Is this Shirley Temple? Comment down below, because I know there are some people who are peony experts out there who know exactly what this peony is. This is the first time this peony has flowered. and I love it. It's almost a vibrant electric pink to me. We have a lot of pink in the garden, but I don't think we have this pink. So I am really excited about this one flowering for the first time this year. We have some yarrow, like I said, more daffodils. This whole area is going to get reworked. Like I said, a lot of reworking that's going to be done, particularly back here. Oh, as I'm standing right here, there's a hibiscus that's just starting to come up. And there's another one in the back that has a slightly different pink color. But this hibiscus, and there's one right there where that other plant stand is, these two will be flourishing and living their best lives towards the end of summer. All right, let's look at the vegetable garden. All right, so now we're walking into the vegetable garden. You come under the grape arch. I know nothing about growing grapes. I know nothing about trellising grapes. And yet, we are getting some grapes. Let me see if I can find some for you guys. Okay, so you guys can see here, we have some grapes. And if you look up here, even higher up, there's some here and all along here. So, as I said, I know nothing about growing grapes and I need to trellis these up. But guys, if we get grapes this year, I'm going to be so excited. I've never grown grapes. If we get even one bunch of grapes this year, whew, I'm going to be so excited. So they're going okay so far this year. The vegetable that I'm the most excited about is the garlic, as I've said before, and the garlic continues to thrive. You'll see on some of them, I believe it's the hardneck garlic that makes the garlic scapes. We have a few of them that are coming up. So I'll have to cut these. You can actually cook with the garlic scapes and they have a nice garlic flavor to them. But really excited about the garlic. I think the garlic harvest is going to be really good this year. In this bed, still more garlic. Guys, thank God for nature because I've started tomato plants inside, and once again, I have no idea if they're going to do well because they're a little behind. I need to get them in the ground. I mean, it is about to be June. However, we have tomatoes that are coming up all over the place. Sometimes I think tomatoes are almost borderline a weed because since starting growing tomatoes, every year, all over the place, little tomatoes start piling up. This bed, interestingly in particular, I think I had 2 or 3 in this bed. And usually this bed I reserve for my herbs because I also put squash so that they can grow up this trellis. So this gets more shade than some other areas in the garden. But I might need to rethink this because this bed is growing some of these tomatoes so well that it's ahead of in some of the other areas that I'm wondering if it's the heat from the house that's causing these tomato plants to be ahead of the others. So we might actually get some tomatoes this year, not because of me, but because nature took care of herself. On this side, we have some carrots that are still coming up. We have some broccoli that I'm just going to have to take out, guys. I put these in too late. There was one broccoli that was trying to make a few heads, but you can see it bolted already and it's already starting to flower. So I'm going to leave these for now, but when it's time to put in the summer crops, I'm going to take out these broccoli. But we have the carrots, we have 2 cucumbers, and there's some onions along this side as well. Over here, we have the June-bearing strawberries, which you can see they're getting ready to pop off. Lots of strawberries in this bed. A few more seascapes here as well. And then we have cherries on this tree. A good number of cherries on this tree. So along with the grapes, if I get cherries this year, oh man, I'm going to be so hyped. I'm going to be so hyped if we get cherries this year. Cross your fingers, because this is definitely more, as I knock one down. Rest in peace, cherry. So one less cherry, but hopefully we'll get some cherries. And then lastly, let me duck under here. We have some blueberries. that my boyfriend put up some netting because he is very concerned about the birds and whatever other critters eating all of the produce. His favorite thing is anything that's productive, the fruits in particular, vegetables. That's his focus, not so much the flowers. But I will say I'm thankful for the netting because look how many blueberries. Once again, this year for the first time, I don't think I've ever seen this many blueberries on these bushes. So I think as long as we can keep this protected and the birds don't eat them, we actually might get a really good blueberry harvest this year. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you for coming along for this late May garden tour. I hope you enjoyed seeing as the garden transitions out of spring into summer. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. So stay tuned as we do more garden projects, get a little wilder out here in the garden. And as always, I hope you get a chance to get outside and enjoy your garden. Until next time, guys, bye.